Alright, this is from one of our past videos. It's an ongoing project. This is a 77 Datsun. We did the intercooler piping last time and mounted the oil cooler right here. It's still a work in progress. He's been working on it little by little. Well, we mentioned we couldn't finish the intercooler piping because this was the angle of the flange, and of course it's not going to fit anywhere. Well, since then he's bought the throttle body, so we're going to cut this flange on. This was our, guesstimate angle when we were here last time. We're going to change that flange position, make this pipe line up with the throttle body, then the intercooler piping is done. We're also doing a downpipe. We're coming off here, downpipe, and going into a full exhaust with a V-bend and a muffler at the back, and of course installing his wastegate. Again, little by little, he's working on it. You see the intercooler piping from last time. It was a tight fit, but looks really cool. It's going to be a really cool project when it's done. So I'll link the video from the last one so you can kind of see what we did and see the progression. I know he's been working on the suspension on the back end, so we'll go ahead and show that. And we'll get this thing on the lift. Alright, so this is the muffler we're going to use for this Datsun. It's a 3.5 inch straight through MagnaFlow. This is what they look like when they're polished. This is polished. This is polished. But then you see it's got this kind of ugly MIG weld on here, and then this, same thing. So this is going to be our tip. It's going to be a 3.5 straight tip. He wants to come out kind of on an angle like this. So what we're going to do is chop this right at the weld. The weld actually joins this can to this inner tube. This inner tube is actually one piece, by the way. It doesn't break right here. But the can is welded here, so to lose that weld, I want to try and cut like right on the edge of it, so we can put a new piece on and put a nice TIG weld around there, so make this clean. And then this weld, we're going to brush it and then polish it and try and get it to blend, make it look a little better. So I'll go ahead and do this, and you can see that. I'll show you what it looks like. So the manifold he provided actually had the wrong flange on it, so his tile wastegate wouldn't fit. It was like a V-bend for something else. So George just cut that off and welded the right one on there. So we can install that back and make sure everything else fits. The wastegate can go on. We'll make sure the dump tube he provided fits, which it looks like it will. And then we have to build a downpipe. We're going from 3 inch flaring up to 3.5 all the way out the back. Alright, so the inside manifold is now modified. The throttle body angle is correct. This pipe has been remade, and this is a flare from 3 to 3.5. So it makes the throttle body perfect. That way we can use a straight coupler and everything will fit right back here the way we wanted it. So nice and clean and easy to install now. Now the throttle body bolts on. Once he comes up with a throttle cable, it's just a case of building a bracket from here and figure out where the outer cable is going to be so we can make this operate correct, which that can be done at a later date. It's pretty easy. We've already got 2 threaded bosses right here. Alright, downpipe. This is all back purge. It's a 3 purge into a 3.5. You see that right there? The purge is up there. Full stainless steel. We have the tab here, so we can actually mount the tab and give it reinforcement. We're just going to mark it and put an O2 sensor or an O2 bung. I know he's going to need one. I don't know whereabouts we're going to put it, but we'll mark it where he's got the best spot. And we can put this on and start making the down end. And we start making the exhaust. Nice new helmet makes our welds actually better because I can see what I'm doing. Okay, so this is where our downpipe finishes. We have the brace here. Again, this is using one of the Honda S2000 hangers. It's actually designed to work that way, so it actually has a little bit of flex. So from here, we're going to go back, try and stay in this cutout here, try and stay as high as we can. And then we have a cross member here. It's a 3.5 inch tube. So 3.5 inch, this is actually a 4-inch diameter, so a 3.5 will fit in here with a little bit of room. And then we're gonna make like a D-shaped pipe. We're gonna try and make the bottom flat. And then we have his diff here. So we're pretty limited what we're gonna do through here. We're gonna try and come through this V. Obviously the pipe is, you know, 3.5. We're gonna try and fit it in this area here and then shoot off. And then we're gonna do the muffler here. So we're doing the tip on it earlier. It's gonna go here, kind of on an angle, and go in here. So let's get working on that pipe. All right, this is the first piece. It comes from there, we have a bend, and it's actually D-shaped. So this is gonna fit in that pocket. This is the bottom, so we've got as much clearance as we can, trying to make it, you know, flat on the bottom. So it's actually curved, flat on the bottom. It's obviously, you know, D-shaped. So I'll show you how this looks. All right, so we have a mount here with a polyurethane. It fits in that pocket pretty tight around here. See there? So we've got clearance all the way around, and like I say, it's flat through here. We've got as much ground clearance as we could. So now we have this back section here. All right, so we are done. We have a hanger up here, and we have a hanger there. Again, stainless hanger with a stainless bracket, V-bend right here. And again, we flatten this to give it a D shape. I showed you earlier. It gives us more clearance. Again, we're tied up in this diff here. This once it's tight, it doesn't move. You see, we got clearance here. This doesn't move at all. But we're trying to get as much room as we can here and all the way through here. It's up in this pocket, and then it's flat on the bottom, and it only sits about a ½ inch below these frame rails. Well, the drive shaft still has to be put in. I mean, the customer's kind of building it little by little. The axles have to be put in. You know, it's gonna have a pretty good size axle coming through here. So we're just gonna clean this. We'll hit a WD-40. He's got the angle cut that he wanted, the angle on the muffler we have here. All right. See, we got as much ground clearance as we could by ovaling it here. It's a 3.5 inch pipe. Like I said, it's about ½ inch below the frame rail at the lowest point. So hopefully that sounds good. So we had to change the flange on the manifold. We talked about that. We've got his new tile wastegate in there, and the dump tube he supplied actually fit pretty good. This is our downpipe. It's 3 inch, merges up to 3.5. It's got a nice transition right there. Last time it was here, we did the intercooler piping, and the oil cooler is mounted. And obviously, remember, this pipe we couldn't finish, it stopped here. So now it's finished. The manifold has been modified to make it fit. This manifold never fit this car at all. So part of changing this, we actually had to taper this in over here, because this, obviously the hole was a much different size. So now it tapers to the throttle body and it matches nice. We have a 3.5, merges down to a 3 right here, so we've got a nice smooth transition. So hopefully this gets him closer to his project and he can keep working on it. I know he has wiring to do and fuel system and obviously the water line, so hopefully he's going to get closer now.